Let's go.
We ready? Maybe we should wait 1 minute. Okay, I'm ready now. Four people with four unique stories on one mission to disassemble corporate brokerage one bad suit and tie at a time. We are the Rebels of Real Estate.
Woo! Woo!
Good morning. Hola. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Sure.
How are you?
Polly
How are you this fine day? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Tchotchkes.
Wow.
He looks old. Have you seen him?
He is
recently.
old.
I mean, he's like 50. I think he just turned 50.
He's not
Oh,
that
really?
old. He's like,
Yeah, he's like 50.
There's no way. He's got to be
50,
over 50.
dude.
Yeah, he probably
Look it
is.
up right now.
Really? I
It
feel
was
like
just his
He's
birthday.
50s, I think.
it's got to be 50s, like higher 50s. 'Cause I feel like I was a kid when he was like an adult. Maybe not. I don't know.
he's not much older
It all
than
blends
me.
together these days at my age.
Did it make you sad?
You're correct, Mr. Kleeper. He is 55 years old.
Oh, there you go.
Still
February
50
1st,
yeah.
1968. So I guess it was not just his birthday.
55.
Joe Rogan's 56. Peter Shore's 57. DJ Pauly D is 43.
Really?
Yeah,
Wouldn't have guessed that.
it's crazy.
Okay.
Are they all the same birthday? Is that how you saw all this?
It's showing me. I looked up Pauly Shore, who looks like crap in this picture. Sorry, Pauly Shore, but you do.
Man, are we going to do a podcast today?
Let's talk about Pauly Shore.
So bad.
Podcast
Sorry,
number
guys.
17.
Podcast number 17.
Which is brought to you by my procrastination in all reality. Because the day that I had to figure out this podcast, I literally was like, Rob, I don't know what to do. Do you have any ideas? And he was like, I wasn't expecting this phone call.
Yeah, I was dealing with so much stuff that day. My brain was just fried, and I was like, no, I can't think about that right now.
And so
Sorry,
I literally was like, okay, let me go in the podcast room. Okay, I'm going to reorganize the podcast room. Okay, let me do this. And then I was like, oh, there you go. There's our podcast. Me procrastinating. Procrastination. Are you a thrive under pressure person? Are you a procrastinator?
Oh, I thrive under pressure.
100%.
But I hate that I procrastinate. It drives me nuts. And it's my ADD. I know what it is. And I try to overcome it so bad, but it's so hard. So hard.
I did, even thinking back to school. Thinking back to school, I would wait till the last minute to do projects. I would do well on them, but I would wait till the last minute. So I still do the same thing. It's hard to, I think the ADD thing makes it, I don't know why we push stuff off.
No,
You know,
I think
until
it's human nature just to avoid. You just want to avoid uncomfortableness, avoid pain or whatever, that you have to experience to do whatever you got to do. I
just
feel
can't,
like everybody
for me,
does
it's
it.
I can't focus on one thing. And that's usually what it is for me. It's like I'll sit down and I'm like, all right, I got to do this. And then 20 things start happening as I'm sitting down to do that one thing. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing it. And I walk away because I'm like, oh, I got a couple days to do it. It's fine. I'll just go do this instead. And then I sit down the next day and I'm like, squirrel, and I'm going to go do this now. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this in an hour. Let me get this done.
Yep.
It's like weird. It's terrible.
Okay, so I've never been diagnosed as ADHD or ADD, but I'm the same way. Like I'll start something, but I think it's more a motivation thing. Like if I do things for so long and then I'm like, okay, I need a break from it, I move on to something else. Some days are worse than others, but is it just your ADHD or ADD that causes you to procrastinate, or is it other things?
It definitely is directly correlated with that.
I think a lot of times if it's something that's huge or insurmountable in a short amount of time, I don't even want to start it because of how much work I think how much work is going to have to go into it. And then when I actually end up doing it, most of the time it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I make it huge.
Yeah.
So I think some of it's just being a human, I think some of it's just human nature,
Human
not necessarily ADHD.
Kind of like what Adam said, like the avoidance thing. Like I know if it's a big thing.
Who's
I'm
Adam?
like, Adam?
Yeah, who is that?
Who's that
I
guy?
don't know who Adam is.
Okay.
I'm trying to avoid him.
Avoidance.
Avoidance.
Is that a coping mechanism?
Must be.
Have you ever tried to make your procrastination better?
Oh, yeah. I ate a book. You ate a book.
I
I read a
You
book.
tried to learn by eating it.
I read a book called Eat That Frog. And that's like all about that. So it's about eating that frog, and the frog is your biggest task of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you get up, the very first thing you should do is whatever your biggest tasks for that day is. So just eat that frog, and then everything else falls into place, right? And Gary Keller's the one thing. Now, the one thing what those two books did change for me is prior to that, I was dabbling in everything. So I'm one of those people that were trying to do like 20 different business ventures at the same time. It was a really bad habit of mine. Like I'd be like, oh, I'm DJing and I'm doing this and I'm going to start this company and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this and this person wants me to do that. And oh yeah, nonprofit. And I got spread too thin. And like when you read The One Thing, it's about there's no such thing as multitasking, right? In the sense that if you multitask, nothing gets 100% of your attention. Mm-hmm. So that helped me, but I can't do the procrastinating. I'm trying.
You still have your moments though, where sometimes you're like, I'm going to dabble here and there.
I think,
and it's like, come back, Rob, reel in.
That's ADHD all day.
For me is I'll get all these things in place that's going to help me not procrastinate. And then I won't for a week, 2 weeks. And then it just comes right back. And then I'm like, oh, I'm right back to where I was. And I'm sure they've seen this over the last 7-8 years of being together, working together. Definitely is an issue. So.
I think it's a major problem in general. Like you go back to the human nature part of it. I think for me, coping with it is, and I think it's natural too, like what you said, Rob, to eat that frog, to do the most challenging or the most important thing of the day. I think a lot of people do the opposite. Mm-hmm. They do the easy things and then, save the last thing for the end of the day. And then they're tired at that point and push it off to the next day. But for me, it's just not trying to think about the whole project and how overwhelming it might be. So when I get into that state, I try and do just small piece by small piece. And as you start chipping away at that overwhelming sense that you have starts to dissipate.
That's a good call. I do that when I drive long distance. Do you guys do that when you drive?
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's an 8-hour trip, I break it down into like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I'm like, all right, I got to get to this point. And then I got there. I'm like, yeah, I got there. And then I got to next point. So that's kind of cool. That's actually a good
chip
call.
Away.
Yeah, just chip away and think about the small portions of it versus the whole project. I like that. Good shit, Adam.
Who's Adam?
Who is Adam?
Who is Adam?
Sometimes
the guy we were avoiding.
Why are we avoiding him now?
Who is this Adam that you speak of?
Mr.
Do you find that your procrastination when you like do it for so long, then you fixate when you're trying to get shit done too? Like it reverses itself. Like, I don't know.
It caused a lot of problems in my life. It did when I was young. Where procrastination got me in a lot of trouble was with bills, because it's not that I didn't have the money to pay it or that I didn't intend on paying it. It's that I would just forget. All my bills right now, in full disclosure, are on auto pay. So I don't have to think about it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not that I don't want to do it, but when I was younger, you would do that, right? So then you procrastinate, then you're a week late, then you get a charge. Now you're 2 weeks late, now you get another charge, right? All of a sudden you're a month late and now it hits your credit report. So like when I was younger, procrastination really beat me up financially.
I got hit on a Capital One credit card bill for $20 that I didn't pay, that I forgot to pay. Yeah. So yeah, I understand that 100%. $20. Not that I couldn't pay my $20 bill,
Yeah, so it's tough.
Yeah. It leads, to me, sometimes what I do is I'll end up fixating to get things done. But does it lead to avoidance then? Or are they separate things? Is procrastination and avoidance two separate behaviors?
I think they're similar. They're two separate, but they can be connected, yeah, because a lot of times you procrastinate because you're trying to avoid whatever it is that you're procrastinating on, right? So I'm sure it's part of it. Like taxes. I try to avoid taxes, but I can't. So you procrastinate.
I can't understand your language.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Taxes. Talking about taxes.
That's a dirty word. Don't talk about
Makes
that.
me nauseous.
Makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Taxes.
Avoidance.
I think too, like it can help to stay focused by writing down what you want to, what are the main things that are important for the next day, doing it the day before,
at night
before you go to bed or something, or at the end of your work day, before you go home, write down, this is what I want to focus on tomorrow. So then you can leave it at work and then, not be thinking about it all night long, obsessing, and then come to work and get it done.
I would say you have to know yourself in that situation, though, because some people don't know how to be flexible. So if they write that list down, they would be like, I'm going to do these things. Yeah. I don't care, whatever. But you have to be more flexible.
This can go the other way, too. And I'm thinking of a friend that's sitting to the right of me right now. You can avoid your real life, too, by working 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I have a purpose.
Hey, there's a lot
I know my
of...
why.
Wow.
Wow.
No, but honestly,
I don't think you're as bad as you used to be.
No, I'm not.
I don't
No,
think
you're
you're
not.
as
No.
bad as you used to be.
but if you ever listen to a lot of like CEOs who speak or do podcasts or whatever, or executive levels in general, they're always like, I don't know why people are always shaming me for working, because that's really what I feel good about doing. So I should just be allowed to work when I want to work. So, but
I'm really not shaming you. I was just having fun.
Shaming.
At your
Shame.
at your
There's a lot of
expense.
truth in your humor.
Shame.
Well, you know.
I mean, we all do things in our lives to avoid
Oh, yeah.
uncomfort.
You know, you were talking about the listing. I think the best way, and I'm preaching to the choir myself, is routine. And I think you need to get yourself in routines that help that, because like it's like the gym, right? Like you know you need to go to the gym. You want to go to the gym. You feel good when you go to the gym, but until you make it a routine, it's never there. But as soon as you make, like, it's a routine for me right now. Like I struggle, and you guys know, I struggled for a couple years, like wanting to go to the gym. And we talk about it. I'd be upset with my weight. I'd be upset that I was out of shape. I hated it, but I didn't make it a routine. And now it's a routine for me. So now it's easy. It's easy to go. I go to the gym 5 days a week. It's easy. I don't even think about it. So maybe like with procrastination, it has to be the same thing. As I have to get into the routine of lists and getting through them, and you have to do it for long enough that it becomes a habit.
What is the
Yeah,
rule of
absolutely.
thumb? 21 days to create a habit, I think, is what the rule of thumb
I think
is.
it's something like that. Yeah.
No,
So-
agreed.
Yeah. So that's just, maybe I need to start figuring out what is good for procrastination, some routines, and get into those routines and then make them habits.
So you saying what you just said makes me sick.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know what that
Stresses me out.
I don't know what that aversion is, but it's I would probably be so much more successful in my life, everywhere, in every aspect, if I could just do that.
Structure.
Yeah, I
hate
don't know.
structure.
I hate it too. I hate that word. I hate.
I think
hate it.
so. For like my perspective, because I'm the same way, I have to have like it has to be balanced for me. Like I can use a list. So like blogging, for example, because I'll do the blogs, I'll have it out that these are the ones I'm going to work on. I might have it on a specific day to try to work on it, but I know that there's flexibility there in case I can't do it, because it keeps me in line of what needs to happen, but I don't hold my feet to the fire to get it done that minute. So it's a balance, I think. So
Sometimes it's hard to adjust. Like, and I'll give us an example of what we do every day. Like there's days that Katie will send me emails and I know I need to get to them, but then I'm getting phone calls from like an owner or like an agent or whatever. I feel like, and you get shifted. And then like, I almost can't get out of that sometimes. Like you have an agenda, and in our jobs, we don't really get, we don't have the benefit of our agenda fitting the day all the time, right? Everything changes daily. Like everybody's like, what's your work schedule like? I'm like, I don't fucking know. It depends on the day. You know, and some days your phone is nonstop. And so I know for me, one of the difficulties that I have is adjusting my mindset. So like if my mindset is problem solving all day for people on the phone, then I don't want to look at the things that she sends me or that Jeff sends me to approve. And I'm just like done. Like I'm like, my brain it's done. You shut off. And then, so that sometimes causes avoidance.
yeah. I've been reading on human design. Have you guys done any reading on human design?
No.
And they actually talk about with my human design. Have you ever seen this, Katie? Okay. Apparently I work better if I only work 4 hours a day. Like if I devote 4 solid hours a day to work, and then after that, which I do think is true for me, just knowing my years of working, that I can get a lot done in 4 hours. Right. And after that, I tend to suck at whatever I'm doing because I'm just checked out.
Yeah.
So
I think that there is some truth to that, and I'm
Yeah.
probably more at like the 6 hour range. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, you're right. Once you start
I think about 20 minutes. Should be good about 20 minutes.
you start to not be as focused.
Right.
You start to be slower at what you're doing. You tend to not be able to have the same ability to see the overall issue and process it, you know,
Right.
like you're fresh. You're not, you know, in the morning, I'm able to look at something, you know, and the night before I might have struggled for an hour or two to try and figure out the problem.
Right.
And I'm up in the morning and in 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, that's
That's all it is.
It's sleep. You need some
The
sleep.
shower.
I think
I do my
for me,
sleep in the
talking to
shower.
people all day long, which
Yeah.
really it's not a hard job, but it burns you. It burns you out, like to
Right.
the point where I don't want to talk to anybody.
You don't want to people anymore.
And yeah, I get tired. And I'm a people person, but when I don't want to people, I mean, I'm for real. Like I'll be quiet, no music, no nothing. Just leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I'm good for a while, but I am not always on. I'm not at all. And I've always been like that in sales. I'll do 1 month, I'll sell 25, 30 cars. The next month I'm doing 15, you know, and then the next month I'm doing a lot again. So it's just, I think it's just human. I think that's human nature, man. Honestly.
Do you think we can even time block and like effectively in our line of work? Because like, you know, I'm just thinking we were talking about it. Maybe I should time block where I can't take phone calls for a certain time, but you can't even do that. Like in our line of like, you know, I'd be so much more effective if I could say from 10 to 12 every day, my phone, I'm not answering it. I'm not texting. I'm not taking calls. I'm just going to focus on my tasks. That'd probably be great. But for us, if we are not responsive for 2 hours, it almost looks negative. It's tough.
I'm going to flip that because you know what? If you go back 20 years ago when we didn't have cell phones connected to us all the freaking time, guess what? You may have called me and I may not have gotten back to you for 3 or 4 hours because I had other things going on, other meetings.
Changed,
yeah,
like,
big time.
But
is that okay?
But is that
We should
okay?
change
like,
it back to the.
we allow that. Like
It's not okay to
every
always be
single
connected
one of us
all
is
the
guilty.
time.
individually change it. It's what I think what is more and more accepted among the whole in general and your competitors. Because if you're not doing it, somebody else is going to.
I turn my phone off when I go run, which I didn't used to, because that drives me. I'm sure you understand this when you're trying to get into a rhythm and your phone is dinging, dinging, dinging. That drives me nuts because you're just. I need a little bit. Just give me this hour to go.
You notice I am the slowest to respond 90% of the time because my phone is always on, off. It's never. I don't.
I feel like you can still do that, but
Yeah.
it may not be 2 hours of time. You know, and what I've noticed, I feel like more and more people are up early in the morning when it's quiet.
Yeah.
You know, they want that quiet time to think, to just focus
I
on
love
a
those
few
couple
tasks.
hours.
You know, usually what I find is, in the evening you have that, but usually you're tired, or if you have the kids or you have other, you know, responsibilities, it's a little bit more difficult.
Right.
But I've noticed in the morning, but you know, sometimes that can conflict too. I like to go to the gym in the morning, you know, so it like conflicts with that time. But I think you can still get away with time blocking, maybe shorter periods of time or something.
I'm the opposite as you. I'm horrible in the morning. Horrible.
I love the morning.
I fucking hate
I used to hate
the morning.
I used to hate
I
it.
can't do it, and I try so hard.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what, at night, I'm chilling. Like my brain is free. I can think of everything. I'm good. Like, and I don't know if it's just because of my line of work that I did forever and I still can't get out of it, or it's just the way I'm programmed.
It could just be you.
But I try so hard, like, to get the mornings right for me. And it's cool being up early. Like I was up at 6:15 today, right? But like I'm worthless in the morning. Like my brain just doesn't kick on. And then when which shouldn't kick on at night, I'm like, so that's why I gotta, take melatonin or whatever it is to shut my brain down so I can actually sleep.
I was literally like that forever because working in the restaurant business, working, music and DJ and all that crap, you're up all night, and I was like that for a long time. And then something happened over the year. I love getting up at 5:30 in the morning when there's nothing else happening. No one else, sit outside or whatever and just chill and think. Be able to think without having other stuff happening.
Yeah.
Do you work out better in the morning or at night?
Afternoon, all day.
Yeah.
I'm an afternoon workout.
See, and I
Yeah.
like the mornings.
Yeah, I bang it out. Like, problem in the mornings for me is I don't feel like I'm putting 100% into it. And I get sick sometimes. Like in the morning, it's weird. Like my body's just like, no.
Yeah.
But in the afternoon, I'm like all in. I'm good.
See, and I was that annoying person. There's actually times I remember being at volleyball tournaments when I was in high school. You'd have to drive. So you'd be up at like the butt crack of dawn to try to get to Miami or wherever you're going. And I would be the one that's like, let's go. And everyone's like, shut up. So I feel like people are catching up to me because I was always the one that was like, yeah, I'm a morning person. Now that we're old, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So
I'm not old. I am not old. I don't know what you're talking about. Old as dirt.
I'm only as old as I feel.
I do think you have to separate the time between the busy work, and the things during the week that are coming at you, and be prepared for that with the long-term vision, strategic thinking, and that may be, maybe it's not during the week, maybe it's Saturday morning or it's Sunday morning.
Right.
I've known, other people in business that, Sunday evening was their quiet time for things like that, for looking ahead and having that time to just think about different things.
Yeah.
Quiet time.
I do think some of it does come down to setting boundaries too. Like you have to set your boundaries and you have to tell people like, this is my boundary. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take your phone call at 6 o'clock at night because I'm having dinner with my family or whatever the case may be. So
I remember getting angry there was a couple agents that would do that. Like, hey, I will respond to you tomorrow if it's the hours between 6 and 9 o'clock or, after 6 o'clock, you're not going to hear from me, but you'll hear from me at such and such tomorrow. I'll be like, wow, that's really crappy.
But it's not.
But it's not. They're setting boundaries. They're able to spend the time with their family in the
Yeah.
evening that they want to. Real estate, it's hard. It's hard though when everybody wants everything right away, and that's what you were just kind of alluding to.
I definitely, for what we do is a little bit different. For what an agent does working with clients, that is an evening and weekend type business, like no doubt about it. So I think if you're in real estate sales, you need to be accepting of that, or maybe this isn't the line of work you should be in. So,
Damn, what was that hard line about, bro? Like, why are you
But you will. I will say though, and I always say this with anything in real estate, there are people. You're going to have clients for everybody, right? And there are clients who are like hard boundary. Like, I don't want people looking at my house, or I don't want you calling me after 7:00 at night about my house if you're listing it. So you're going to find those people who feel the same way too. So, do you feel like any of your avoidance is because you put things on your plate that you shouldn't, or your procrastination? Like, are you spending too much time and energy on things you shouldn't be, like scrolling on TikTok for hours at a time?
I don't really do that actually, which is crazy. I'm weird. I'm every like constantly throughout the day, I log into I look at Facebook for a minute.
Yeah.
If at the longest. It's like almost like a habit. Like I just open it, I'm like this, and then I'm done. Like I don't sit for long periods of time on social media. But I have to constantly check it, if that makes sense. Like it's weird. I don't know. I'm weird when it comes to that.
So if you counted up every minute that you did it, how many minutes in a day are you probably opening Facebook and looking
Maybe
at
30 minutes or something like that a day. I don't know.
I think mine's more than that.
Maybe more. I'd have to look. I can look on our phones, right? But yeah, I don't know. No.
No. Or do you have specific things that you avoid besides taxes?
Fucking taxes.
I didn't hear you.
Organization.
Specific things you avoid.
I avoid.
Or you just
understand his
okay.
And
the word that he said.
Organization.
Like we talked about it. I think we said it on another podcast. But like, if I want to go organize my garage, I avoid the shit out of that. Even though I try to do it. Like I try to do it, and then I'm like, this sucks, and I'm out. Like because the way my brain works, like I need somebody to come do that. I can't. My brain doesn't process organization.
I can't either at all.
Like I can't even think about that.
Erica will come out here and be like, Corey, like, what are you doing? Why? And I'm trying, dude. I'm trying hard. You know what I mean? I'm trying hard to make things organized, but I just can't. I can't make myself do it.
Can't.
It's the worst. It sucks.
It really sucks because I want it. It's not like I don't want to be organized.
Yeah.
I want organization in my life. And then I try to sit down and do organization, and nothing works. It's just my brain does not process that.
Or it's organized for 10 minutes. Yeah. Like my garage, it's when it's organized, it's not really organized.
Yeah.
But it's cleaned up enough that you can walk in and out of the garage, and you can use the gym in the garage, but shit is still everywhere if you really start to look. And Erica's like, well, let me see if I can help you with this, because I suck at it. I do.
Yeah, that's terrible. So I avoid that big time.
Organization.
What do you avoid, Lisa?
Life. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I have my little things here and there that I'm like, mine's more procrastination, I think, than avoidance. Because there are things I'm sure I avoid, and a lot of times it's me going, you need to get uncomfortable, right? Like if it's something that's making me uncomfortable, then and I'm living in the comfort zone, then I have to push myself to be like, just get uncomfortable. Just do it. Rip the Band-Aid. What about you, Adam?
I avoid golf because I'm not that good at it.
I avoid golf.
Takes a long time too.
Yeah.
It's such a long game. I feel like
4 or 5 hours, you're done.
Much wasted time.
And then you're hot the whole time, and you're like, no, it's no. Good.
I
love golf.
I like it, but I like it for a short time. Like if I
Very
can go out,
short,
like
if I
a
can play 9 holes,
I'm quick 9 holes and you're out.
But if it's after that, I mean, I'm the guy that's jumping the golf cart over stuff and getting
100%
caught in mud up to my jumping over a creek. That was the last time I played golf. That's what happened. Yeah. So yeah,
driving your golf cart into the lake.
I would probably do it.
It just doesn't appeal to me. There's just so many more things I can do with my time.
It's a lot of time, a lot of hours. I would rather be hanging out with my kids.
I mean, honestly, I think some of it's just recognizing that too. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, there's lots of things I don't do, and I'm like, that's because I don't want to ever do them.
Yeah, you don't enjoy
recognize
it.
Why don't have FOMO. just don't.
Yeah.
Do you think the things you avoid in your business life are different than the ones in your personal life? Is there differences between avoidances? I mean, organization kind of goes both ways, but there's probably things you have in your personal life, like golf that you or checking email.
I'm trying to think of.
Or returning phone calls.
There's probably similarities.
Just
but
things
there may
that make
be
you
things
uncomfortable.
more in probably my personal life that I avoid, like balancing a checkbook compared to reconciling the accounts, which are done, in the first of the month.
You don't balance your checkbook?
I don't. No, I don't.
Who the hell does that anymore?
Every day,
don't.
man.
You know I don't.
Day.
You know, I don't.
You know I'm not balancing the checkbook.
I mean, but all the business accounts are reconciled, like
And everything's
they're on
good.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just always watching.
Budgets.
I'm so
Like
scared
we have a
people are
budget,
gonna
but we don't have a home budget.
There's really not a lot, I think, in my personal life that I avoid. That I can really, honestly, like, what am I avoiding? I don't really avoid much.
We'll have to
I'm all
ask
about it.
Erica.
Oh, well, if I look at it from that perspective, what do I avoid?
Uh-oh.
Doing dishes.
Probably a lot of home projects. A lot of home projects.
No,
Cooking
I
dinner.
I do all that stuff. I cook.
Yeah.
I clean. I'm not that dude. Yeah, I cook. I clean. She'd probably say I don't do it the right way. I definitely don't load the dishwasher correctly. So
Man.
that's never correct. I don't know. I don't understand. I didn't know there was only one way to load a dishwasher, but according to Erica, there's only one way.
I think that was
So,
one of the best parenting tips ever, though, was to say, you know what, if your kids are trying, don't correct them, right?
Let them do it.
so she
Let
should
them
say that
do
to
it.
me. Court, one of your kids is trying.
You know
Don't
what?
Correct them.
I avoid in my household. Actually, everybody avoids it. Putting laundry away.
Oh, I hate that though too.
That is
I would
the
avoid.
worst. I know you love it because you get to hang it up and put it in order and color
I'm the
code
same
it.
way.
So
I do the same
you're
thing,
all about
Adam.
them.
It's okay.
that is the worst thing. Both of us actually struggles with. We all struggle in the household. It's like you do the laundry and it's caught up, and then you just don't want to fucking put it away. It's like I don't know why. That's the worst. I avoid that.
I think
Can't lie.
I'm like that. I worked retail for so long that it was just like I got all these habits about how you should fold your laundry and make it look pretty. So to me, it's just part of the process.
That's just
Erica usually puts the laundry away. Honestly, I will
don't.
wash it and I'll fold it, but I don't.
yeah. I don't like putting it away.
I literally wash all of our laundry.
That's painful
and
for
it
me.
sits in the laundry room. I do not put anyone's laundry away. Like, Justin, put your own fucking laundry away.
Probably just sits there.
No, he usually does eventually put away his socks. He leaves certain things in there all the time. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? But
That's his new drawer.
Get it together,
Picks
Justin.
Stuff up.
Way to
every
go,
morning.
Justin.
has avoidance ever actually benefited you? Have you ever avoided something?
Yeah.
I've avoided punching people in the face.
We're going back to the punching
That just happened.
conversation.
That just
Yeah,
happened for me this past weekend. I avoided doing the same thing.
Avoided conflict many times, right? So that's always good. Avoidance is good.
Avoidant in those
Avoiding
situations.
pulling the trigger maybe on not so smart financial decisions.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about on some.
I know. I was worried
Pulling
about
the trigger.
that.
I'm
I'm like,
like,
where
what?
is this going?
Wow.
Oh, it's getting dark. And then he's saying,
I thought you were going to
financial decisions.
start spitting some rap. I thought you were about to start rapping over here.
Spit hot fire.
If I could, I would.
Dylon, and Dylon. I spit hot fire.
Spit hot fire.
One mic.
What about did you ever avoid any like boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever?
Oh, geez. Well, that's of
That's a
course.
different
No comment.
podcast.
No
oh,
comment.
come on. You guys are no fun.
I avoid people sometimes. Like there's people
You
that I
have
avoid.
to. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Like when they call me or whatever, I'm like, I'm not taking that. They text me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your text 3 days later. I avoid people.
You know, I worked at Vanguard for a long time, and I had clients all over the country. But at one point in my career there, Hershey was my client, Hershey Corporation. It was the first time ever in the 15 years that I was there that I would go to the grocery store and be like, I hope I don't run into anybody. Like, I would literally avoid. I would see people and I'd be like, detour. I don't want to, like, because I always try to separate my work from my personal life. So
I'm usually
was
the guy
tough.
that'll talk to anybody, like wherever I'm at, I'll talk to people. But there's occasions when I'm in that don't want to talk to anyone mode where I'm at the grocery store and I see somebody and I go the other direction because I'm
Yeah.
trying to avoid them. Yeah.
Do you have people in your life you avoid? Like I have people in my life that I avoid, like people that I genuinely love and care about, but they're soul suckers.
yeah.
And it's like you miss them, and then when you see them, it's like 30 minutes in, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's
you
why I
remember
avoid
why.
them." So I do have some soul suckers that I avoid in my life.
You're
which,
good to see them
you know,
every once in a while.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
like
it.
you love them and they're great people, but you can only take so much of them. So
Yeah.
you're like, "Yeah, I'm avoiding that situation."
For sure. For sure.
Yep.
Do you guys have any final advice on
Okay.
procrastination or avoidance for our listening audience?
just accept it.
Just accept
Acceptance
who you
is
are.
your first step.
I'd say small steps at correcting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Routines and habits. I think it's just really about building routines and habits to get away from it. I mean, that's life in general, I think, is routines and making things a habit.
And being comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's part of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And not beating yourself up. Don't beat yourself up over it. We all do it.
Yeah. Corey, anything? Any final thoughts?
I feel like as long as we're trying to get better, you know, even if it's not perfect and you keep trying along the way, I think you're doing the right thing. I mean, I am never going to be perfect when it comes to not procrastinating. I know I won't.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you're making the effort, like you said, I was going to say incremental effort.
Yeah.
You know, I think makes sense.
I like it.
And you're aware of it.
When you were in college, did the worst procrastination that I ever experienced was writing like papers?
Oh, yeah.
Like that was the worst feeling, like of dread. Like I hated writing papers.
No need to worry anymore. You got AI.
Well, this is true, and that has
And
actually helped a
everything-
little
You're
bit.
good to go.
Yeah, you have
You're
AI,
right.
and now everyone's
Yeah.
getting kicked out of colleges and not graduating for using it. But yeah,
Yes.
I would wait till the last. Well, it was a little bit different though too. When I was in college, we still had to go to the library to do research papers, and we had to type still on word processors because we didn't have computer. Like you had to go to school to go to
You
the
are old.
computer. I think I'm old.
1936. She
So,
graduated.
but so most of the time, our professors would be like, "You're going to do research for this long." And then I would wait and try to write the paper because I feel like sometimes I do write better if I have time, if that's all I'm focusing on and I just sit down and do it. So, but yeah, college, studying, I procrastinated studying all the time. All right, let's play some Would You Rather.
Let's do it.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for
Are
it.
you ready? Okay. Would you spend 2 weeks wearing nothing but a G-string and Tevas for $20,000?
Hell no.
No,
Not for 20 grand.
We need way more zeros
Way
for
more zeros.
that. Way more zeros for that.
Oh my goodness. Come
Hell no.
on. No?
I would do it for free. In fact, if you're coming to the owner's retreat, that's what you're going to get, guys.
Oh, man.
G-string and Tevas.
I'm going to wear a bikini.
I'd pay you 20 grand not
Banana
to see you
hammock.
do that.
Oh. Is it gonna Iron Valley G-strings? Are we gonna get those?
We're
I'm
going to
just
pass those
kidding.
around, yes.
I can't. Some of these are really bad. Would you accept the power to be able to fly in exchange for weighing 500 pounds?
Hell no. No. You're a flying 500 pound. What does even? It's so opposite.
It's like a C-130 out there buzzing
Yeah.
around.
How are you even flying at that weight?
Depends. It depends on where I was in my life.
Coming in hot.
If I was like
Landing.
ready to die and I was old and like ready to kick the bucket, yes.
Yeah.
I'll take the 500
If not,
pound.
you're dying in a year anyway at 500
Right.
pounds. Jesus.
Well, how tall are you?
Oh, that's true,
Or
too.
was
Is it
Based on
proportionate?
your-
You'd have
or
to
is
be
it-
8 foot to be proportionate at 500 pounds. 500? No.
Could be a big flying guy.
Jesus. You'd be like 8 foot tall to even semi look proportionate. And even then you look fat. 500 pounds. That's wild.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Would you attempt to hold in your bowel movements for 2 weeks for $50,000, if and only if you succeeded?
Hell no.
No.
No, I like to sit on the toilet.
Yeah.
Every time I call this guy, he's on the toilet.
Not every time,
No,
but
okay.
there's many
Mo-
times.
most of
Many
the
times.
time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I've actually.
You all are bad about answering the phone in the bathroom.
Whatever.
You can always hear it too. There's a little bit of an
You know.
echo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're saying it's
And
okay?
then you
while
hear
I'm
the
taking a
the
dump if I
fan,
answer
you know,
the
running.
phone with you.
I mean, if you got to do
Corey,
it.
I hear
Gotta
the
do it.
bathtub going too.
Well, yeah, the one day I was like, dude, I'm ready to get in the shower. What I was like, what did I say? I was like, I'm actually standing here naked right now as we're talking. I
good.
said, how does that make you feel?
Oh, man. Awkward.
Would you have your nose surgically altered so that you can have one giant nostril for $3 million?
Yeah, I'm on the fence about that one. I might do that.
One giant nostril.
No,
You get-
no, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
pass.
I'll take it, and then I'll get the plastic surgery to get
Get
my
it
2
fixed.
nostrils back.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll take the three grand.
No, you can't do that. That's like that
Didn't
voids
say
it.
that. Did it say that?
but-
I mean, I'm at the point
What
in my
if you
life
could
I'm
breathe?
cool with it. Nobody likes the way I
Yeah.
look. I don't really care. I'll take the 3 milli.
But
or
then-
you could get like one of those like ear. You could plug it. No,
You'd have to put a filter on there. You'd be like sucking bugs left and right up there. You know, you'd be riding down the road on your
I
motorcycle.
mean, I would
and flies
imagine
would
we
be-
have 2 now, so it'd just be 1 versus 2. It'd be all right. I don't think it would
be a big.
Could you be?
Big hole
Could you
in there.
breathe
What was
better? You might be able to.
Schnazola.
The Schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Would you wear a monocle for a day to work for $500?
A what?
Sure.
A monocle?
Why not?
What the heck is
A monocle.
One single.
Yeah, like the
glass.
old guy, like the
Oh,
Monopoly
like
guy.
Monopoly.
Monopoly man.
Oh.
Monocle.
Wait, does he not really have a monocle? Isn't that one of those like
I feel like he does have a monocle.
Yeah, the Monopoly
look it
man
up.
does, right?
what?
I feel like he does.
I thought it was one of those like things that was out recently that he never really had a monocle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Mandela effect, yeah.
He does not have a monocle.
Wow.
See?
But
Right?
we all thought he did.
Did you all think he did?
Yeah, that's
Who,
weird.
the Monopoly guy?
Yeah.
What does he
I
have?
don't believe that he didn't have one.
Yeah, he had to have at some point. Somebody
Hold on,
switched
let
it
me
up.
The
look.
and screwed
Mandela
us up.
effect says that he did not. If we go by
Oh.
the Mandela effect,
Interesting.
we should do a Mandela
I would wear one
effect
just for free.
podcast
I would
to
wear
show
one for
them.
free. That would be fun. I'd rock one of those to see what people say.
Well, you can wear it next year to the bash or whatever.
I'm down.
that we have.
I already got something for Bash. It's going to be fun
All right, here you go.
for my outfit.
I haven't gotten that yet. Would you?
Assless chaps.
Tchotchkes.
Wow.
Wait, you're saying the monocle, the Monopoly guy didn't have it? I see a picture of him. With
Yeah,
a,
but read. Keep reading.
what?
You got to read
Has
a little
no
bit. Don't
monocle?
just look at
He
pictures.
has no It's a Mandela effect.
Since
He
his
had a
first
monocle.
appearance.
They said there was an error card at one point that had the monocle on it, but none of the rest of it did.
I feel
Wow.
like he's always had it.
There.
We're killing it. All right.
Would
no
you?
monocle for the Monopoly
No
guy.
monocle. Okay. Would you, if the deity made it possible, have a third nipple for $100,000?
Sure.
I'll
Okay.
take a
It's not
third
really
nipple.
that crazy, yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
At
I'm wearing a shirt.
$100,000 a nipple, how many would you have?
I'll take 100,000. All nips.
You'll
I'm
be
good.
the walking nipple.
I'll be one big nip.
Well, I'd want to be even, so I like maybe 6 or 8 somewhere. It got to be evened out.
Like the cats?
Yeah,
Like
you
a
know what I
cat
mean?
or dog,
Yeah,
right?
it's fine. I'm rocking a shirt all day. It's cool.
I knew it.
You
a
knew
guy that had a third
nipple?
nipple.
I know somebody had a third
I
nipple.
know
guys.
ones that have more than
I
that.
know one that we used to
kinda
call it a third nipple, but I don't think it was.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Skin tag.
I don't know what it was.
Would you adopt your partner's hairstyle for $25,000 a year as long as you kept it
Yeah.
for a whole
Yeah,
year?
sure. You'd
You
be like a
guys would
rock
have-
star. You look like Nikki Sixx
go
or
bald.
something.
No,
Go bald.
I'm good.
You don't want Erica's
I
hairstyle?
don't.
I would be buzzed.
I think I look really weird.
I mean, any hair's better than none here, so I got.
Okay, last one.
Bald is the new beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
So beautiful.
Would you attempt to remove your own appendix with a pocket knife and some rubbing alcohol for $5 million?
Fuck no. Who? What? You would definitely die. You're not making it.
that with a.
Do
Well,
you
you
not
never
trust
know.
yourself?
What about the dude?
Where the fuck my appendix? I mean, I know in the general vicinity, but like, what if you cut your liver or your bowels or something? Like,
So what if
something is going to go.
What about
really
the dude
wrong.
that had to cut his arm
The arm
off with a
I
pocket?
remember that.
We were just
I
talking
love
about that,
that book.
yesterday. Think about that.
the
thought
mental, like
having a pocket knife first off and having to cut through your bone.
Your
and through-
bone.
Like, how does that even happen? Like, how could you even?
how do you
and that-
mentally get through that?
and think, okay, I'm going to bleed out if I. Like, there's a whole head game going on there. That would be horrible.
Did you read his book about that?
I only saw the movie. I didn't read that.
Oh my gosh, it was
Horrible.
it was crazy.
I would like to read the book.
It was I think I read
I feel
it.
like
in
if you
a
did that,
day.
you become severely infected. It becomes sepsis.
He was
by
in the
just
middle of the
digging around in
canyon.
yourself.
Yeah,
I
you're
saw-
definitely dying.
Well, I think
He
made it out.
lived.
He
He
made it out.
lived.
Dude made
Is
it
that the
out.
120 some hour movie or whatever that was
Yeah.
based off of?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he lived.
Crazy.
He made it out. He got lucky when he came out of the canyon. He ended up running into people pretty quickly. So
Wow. Imagine seeing this dude, no
Bleeding.
arm, coming out there with his pocket knife, like, yo,
Arm over his shoulder.
help.
no, it got stuck on it was under the boulder. Remember, he had to
Oh,
leave
it's
it.
just-
But
I was saying that.
Well, I
for a
wonder
fact.
though if like he lost nerve, if there was so much nerve damage from the boulder on it, he didn't
Could've
feel it
been.
or something.
Right.
Like,
If there's no blood, that's if you had to do it, that's what you want to do is tie off
Yeah.
above it, kill the blood flow, and then do it.
which half of it was probably already killed because it's under a boulder.
Oof.
Oh man, no thanks. I hope that never happens to me.
Stay in your house, you'll be good. That won't ever happen.
Yeah,
Until a tree falls on
not
your
going
house.
to the
and-
canyon. Oh, chill, bro. Damn, some bad juju right there.
so in the line of this whole thing being about procrastination, if our listeners have any suggestions for podcasts or things they want to hear from us, please either comment to our podcast somewhere, our Facebook posts, send us a message.
Just let us know.
We would love to do something that everyone wants to hear.
Yeah,
even the youngins that I've been hearing that are listening to this, the young generation.
Yes, I will.
Let's hear from you guys. I wanna
Yeah,
hear from
for
you
sure.
guys.
I think Corey and I talked about this a little bit. Like, I know Alyssa, when we did the social media one, she's like, I purposely listened to that because I wanted to hear what you guys thought. Like, because you're older. Like, we're in that middle space, so you know, we'd love to do whatever you guys want to hear. So
Let's do it up.
Mandela effects. I think we need to do one of those.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. So,
All
all right, y'all. Peace out.
Thank you, everybody. Later.
Much love.